And it's intercepted. It's intercepted by number 22. That's Clifton. He's got the left edge. Turns on the Jets. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Calaveras. What a play. Up to a running back. That's Ferrante over to the right side. He comes back up the middle. He's got room. One man to beat. He turns on the Jets. There he goes. Touchdown, Calaveras. What a play.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk Football with Coach Val. I'm your host, Gil Valtierra, the voice of Calaveras football. It's Friday night, game night. Your Calaveras Redhawks are on the road for round 2 of the CIF Sac Joaquin Section playoffs at Sonora High School. My guest is none other than head varsity football coach at Calaveras High, Coach Manny Mossa. Coach, they still love you here when you win round 1 of the playoffs. You are the man.
It sounds like a playoff crowd there, right?
So we'll get into more of that. Congratulations on the victory in round 1 against Wheatland. We'll get into more of that later. Let's first start off with some playoff action with our Calaveras Junior Red Hawk program. Looks like the Calaveras youth teams were on the road for round 2 of the 2024 Motherlode Valley Football League playoffs. Coach Greg Mills sent me over some info on the junior novice of Calaveras. They were victorious 34-0 over AMA. They will now head to the Super Bowl on Saturday to play Argonaut for the Super Bowl. Correct me, Coach. Yep. Don't jump on in if I make a mistake somewhere. But in this past game, it looks like Jax Watson had 184 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns, 10 tackles. That boy was all over the field. Brennan House, 6 tackles, a quarterback sacks, and a forced fumble. Bronson Jenkins, 7 yards rushing and a touchdown, also had 3 tackles. Tucker Mills, 54 yards rushing. Gino Varney, 28 yards rushing and a touchdown, also had 4 tackles. Trent Hughes, 10 yards rushing and 3 tackles. Maxwell Green, 2 tackles. David Amistoy, Talon Sink, Thomas Steinhoff, Lucas Smith all recorded a tackle, and Vincent Vela had an onside recovery. A big shout out to Riker Kwashnick on the O-line for being a standout. Those are the notes from Coach Mills. Coach Mossa, you were there. Talk to me, comments on that game.
Yeah, I was able to catch a little bit of it. I think it started off, I remember right, started off a little slow for them, but 34-0, second round of playoffs, going on to the Super Bowl. Hey, man, they're on a roll. They're on a roll, man. Coach Mills, he's got to be pretty happy with the squad.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've been getting it done all season long, and now we're getting towards, 1 game left, right? And so it'll be exciting to see. Moving on to the next level here with the novice team, the Calaveras Novice Junior Redhawks were victorious over Sonora 24-12. With that victory, they're also going to the Super Bowl next this coming Saturday to play Argonaut as well at Argonaut. So congratulations, Coach, with that Super Bowl bid. Looks like number 6, Nolan Mint, had 12 rushes for 53 yards and a touchdown. Also had a 50-yard touchdown reception. That number 6 can run, can he?
Yeah, he's fast.
Number 7, Ethan Mossa, no slouch himself as far as running the football. 15 carries, 143 yards rushing. Also had a 20-yard reception. Great job, Ethan. Number 99, Hayden Trio, 2 rushes for 3 yards. Number 2, Gregory Mills, 3 rushes for 11 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was also 2 for 4 passing and 70 yards with a touchdown pass. Defensively, number 15, Cooper Watson, had 3 tackles, 1 of those for a loss. Number 50, Landon Nunes, 7 tackles, 2 of those for a loss. Number 00, Braden Hughes, 4 tackles. Number 2, Gregory Mills, 2 tackles, 1 for a loss. Number 7, Ethan Mossa, 8 tackles, 2 for a loss. Number 10, Levi Lim, 5 tackles, 1 for a loss. Number 33, Tyler West, 3 tackles. Number 6, Nolan Mint, 2 tackles for a loss. Number 22, Nash Kamenzen, 2 tackles. Number 0, Landon Carne Asada. I think I can say that better than I can say his real name. He had 2 tackles. Great job. Number 99, Hayden Trio, 1 tackle. And number 13, Brent Fusen, contributed with his tackle as well. 24-12 victory. Coach, you were on the sideline. Comments on that game?
Yeah, Sonora came in with a great plan. I thought a defensive plan against our offense, and it took us a little bit to figure it out. But once we figured it out, the guys really did a good job blocking up front. We had I think it was 6-6 at halftime. It was tight.
Wow,
it was a tight game. Second quarter, first quarter, we offense couldn't move the ball at all. Second quarter, we finally found a couple of holes. We were able to move it, and then made some adjustments at halftime, and was really able to move the ball after half. Both in the air and on the ground, which is a good thing. But defensively, our defense, 2 scores, 2 mistakes. The mistake on the edge cost us on both of those scores, and other than that, man, we had a lot of kids to the football. A lot of kids coming up to the football, cleaning the piles up. I mean, it was the 8 and 9 years old. The pads were popping, and it was like playoff atmosphere.
Wow.
I've been coaching high school for a long time. I was getting into it. You know what I mean? And I get into it, but you know what I mean? Like you hear the pads,
right.
You get into
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
You get a little fired up, and I was definitely fired up during the game. And I felt like our boys are resilient. It was tough, right? We've had some easy scores. We've had some, sometimes it's been a little easy for us, and this one was not. This one was tough, and the guys kept fighting, kept playing. Nobody bailed out. You know what I mean? And ultimately, man, we were able to wear them down and scored 3 scores in the second half and go into the win column.
Excellent job. Headed to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Great job. Moving on to the next level, the varsity junior Redhawks. Coach Troy Paulson sent me some info there. They were victorious 14-6 over Escalon in another close game. So they will be headed to the Super Bowl Saturday at Argonaut, but they'll be playing Houston in that Super Bowl game. Looks like the stats for that game. Austin Locke had 15 carries for 89 yards rushing and an extra point conversion. Gavin Verduccio, 5 carries for 15 yards. Matthew Timewell, 77 total yards and a touchdown and 1 extra point conversion. Traxton Goebel, 2 carries for 15 yards. David Devich threw 3 passes for 47 yards, scored a touchdown on a quarterback sneak, and had a few great scrambles to move the chains. Devich also ended the game with an 11-minute drive that started with 1 minute left in the third quarter and ended with him taking a knee on the 3-yard line. That's going on a long, long drive, controlling the clock, controlling the game. So congrats to them for taking care of business there. On defense, Austin Locke had 9 tackles and a key interception. Santino Patolo had 1 tackle. Titan Grant had 7 tackles. Gavin Verduccio had 4 tackles. David Devich had 3 tackles. Traxton Goebel had 4 tackles. Matthew Timewell had 1 tackle. Ashton Nunn had 1 tackle. Ryan James Dickerson, 3 tackles and 1 quarterback sack. And number 8, Jay Wright, had 1 tackle. Ryan James Dickerson, I don't know about you, Coach, but when I was coming up in this world, when you had 3 names and everybody called you by all 3 names, you have to be like pretty affluent or rich, right? You have to be like, Winston Johnson the third, or something. even I'll say that for Coach Arledge, for Sam who does the novice team, Samuel Arledge the third or fourth. Like, okay, well, what do you like own 5 gas stations or something, right? You got to be up there to have 3 names. Anyways, that's my 2 cents. I only have 2 names, so and I can show you my bank account. It shows you only 2 names there, no third name. Anyways, going back to the Junior Red Hawk programs, 3 of the 4 programs all going to a Super Bowl. What an accomplishment. Congratulations to everybody involved there. And when I say everybody, not just the players, not just the coaches, but the parents all season long, making sure their kids get to practice, dropping them off at practice, picking them up for practice, getting them to those games, being there most of the day on Saturday, supporting the other teams and it's a big time commitment to be able to do this stuff. And it takes everybody. It takes the coaches, the players, the parents, the people on the board that spend all this time doing all the work they do to make these games go off. And to have 3 of the 4 teams be in the Super Bowl, what an accomplishment.
I couldn't be happier as the high school head coach. Couldn't be more proud. There's a lot of junior coaches running around helping out. There's a lot of kids willing to give it a try. A lot of kids showing up, going to practice, making every day, I'm proud.
Yeah,
honestly, I'm proud because I do feel we have one giant program, high school, varsity, JV, junior level, all 4 levels, one giant program. Everybody's trying to be on the same page, doing their best. A lot of questions people want to learn. People talk to our high school coaches. Just one giant program. We're all on the same field. They practice on our field. We're using some of the same equipment. They get to see how we're doing some things. They try to implement it down there, and couldn't be more proud of the program. And I'll tell you, we do the youth camp every summer. And 2 years now. I've done it as a head coach, and 2 years in a row, I've told the kids, no matter what happens, no matter the score of the game, win or lose, you make sure you're the toughest kid on the field.
Right. You
got to be the toughest team on the field, and these guys are doing it.
Yeah,
they're doing it, and we're trying to resonate that same thing at the high school level. You know what I mean? We're a good team. We want to be a tough team. Tough teams win in November.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I couldn't be happier that we have 3 teams in the Super Bowl. That's pretty rare. That doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, it's very difficult to do, and I think it's indicative of the hard work that everybody has been putting in to do exactly what you're talking about. Create a culture, create a continuity. Everybody's on the same page. We all understand what we're trying to get done. There's a camaraderie there. We've all been over at your house and had barbecues, all the youth coaches, high school coaches. Yep. Doesn't matter what level you're coaching out. We've all broken bread together and hung out together. So it's like one big giant football family.
Yep.
And then now to see the results where, all right, we're in November. 3 teams are in the Pop Warner or in the Super Bowl, and the high school team is in round 2 of the playoffs. Yep. That's some great stuff right there. So congrats, Coach.
Thank you. I'm loving it right now.
Absolutely.
Good times at Calaveras football.
So let's talk real quick before we get done with the youth and wrap that up and put a bow on it. Holiday time's coming. Put a bow on it. The two teams, the junior novice and novice, they're playing Argonaut. They've played them before earlier. Mm-hmm. Have they beat them before?
Yeah. Both junior novice and novice are undefeated.
Okay.
Both games against Argonaut earlier in the season, or I should say more later in the season, both tough games.
Right.
Really tough games.
Varsity, on the other hand, I think that was their only loss was to Houston.
That's correct.
And so now they're going to play in the Super Bowl against the only team that's beaten them. So talk about having a second chance to get it done.
Look, our varsity team is a good team, hard-nosed. Houston's no slouch, man. They're a good football team. Obviously, they're number 1 for a reason. They put some points in our team. I feel like they embarrassed our varsity team in our game this year. I think some of our players should, they should be embarrassed. Mm-hmm. They should take that into consideration. I felt like some of our varsity players should have, how should I say it? We had some players that looked like they kind of bailed out. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
That cannot happen against a good football team like that. It goes back to what we just said a second ago. You got to be the toughest team on the field. Well, team is not more than a couple guys. Team is a lot of guys. Team is 20, 30 guys. You need 20, 30 dudes that are tougher than their 20 or 30 dudes.
That have grit. That'll keep battling. It doesn't matter what the scoreboard says. I'm going to battle you every play.
We have enough juice on that varsity team to beat that Houston team. They just got to go do it.
Right. All right. Well, you heard it, folks. Saturday at Argonaut High School over in Jackson, the junior novice and novice will play in the Super Bowl against Argonaut. And then the varsity team will play against Houston in the Super Bowl. Best of luck to all 3 of those junior Red Hawk programs. Let's move on to the high school. The high school, Calaveras, as I mentioned earlier, was victorious over Wheatland High School. Calaveras was the 11th seed. Wheatland was the 6th seed, I believe. And Calaveras went in and beat Wheatland 24-14 on their home field. Let's go over some of the stats, Coach, and then we'll talk about some comments on that game.
Yeah.
Quarterback Cohen Kern was 2 for 6, 24 yards and a touchdown. Ayala, 9 carries, 42 yards rushing. Ferrante, 19 carries, 69 yards rushing and a touchdown. Clifton, 2 for 24 yards receiving and a touchdown reception. And then 3 for 18 yards rushing. Paulson, 12 carries for 100 yards rushing. And Hernandez, 3 carries for 10 yards rushing. Calaveras had a total of 238 yards rushing, 24 yards passing, for a total of 262 total yards. Coach, talk to us a little bit about that game.
Yeah, it's funny. You look at the stats, you're like, okay. That was tough yards.
Right.
Really tough yards. They played a very good football game, I thought. We didn't break off a lot of huge runs, but we continued to gain yards every play, 2 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards. And we kind of kept that thing going. We drew a couple pass plays up in the sand, you know what I mean? We seen a couple of things there, and luckily one ended up as a touchdown. But I think our team showed some grit. That drive was terrible. That was a long drive, when you're wanting, first round of playoffs, everybody's ready to go, know. And, that was a long drive. We showed up on time, which was a good thing. You know, we were bus was a little late, and but we were able to get there on time. We got and I thought the guys really showed up ready to go. We stalled out a lot on offense. I will say that. I think we gave the ball back. I think we went 4 and out 4 times, I think, 3 in the second half. And so that's something we got to figure out. We got to get a little better at that. You know what I mean? We got to be able to pick up that extra yard or 2 to get that first down, because that's how close we were on most of them. So, but yeah, man, I thought Wheatland was a good football team, 9-1 in the PVL. Guys were ready to go. I think some of our, as we should have felt slighted with our seeding, but that's done now.
Right.
Now we're in the second round. Now second round, you're going to play good teams, regardless of your seeding. So, I think, we'll take that one. Okay. Let's learn from it. Let's get ready to play Sonora.
You bet. So from what I saw in the game, I was calling it on KVGC radio, up there in the press box. And I saw in the first half, from an offensive perspective, Wheatland really wasn't running the ball too well, but they had some success. That quarterback likes to stay in shotgun most of the time. That 17 receiver that they had was a really good wide receiver. They had some success in the first half in that intermediate to deep throws. He threw a deep touchdown pass in the first half. And so that intermediate to deep passing game, they had success in the first half. Then Calaveras on the other side in the first half had their ways running the football. You were able to go on long drives, score. You were able to move the ball running. They had a hard time stopping the running game. And then the second half comes out. At the end of the first half, it's 21-14 Calaveras. You're up by 1 score at the end of the first half. Come out in the second half, and I was saying at halftime on the radio, this is, can Wheatland continue that intermediate to deep passing? And they couldn't. Calaveras shut them down when it came down to the passing game. But then on the other side, can they continue to run the ball? And in that whole third, all of a sudden, Calaveras couldn't run the ball. Right. Wheatland did a good job of stopping. Yep. Nobody scored in the third quarter. In fact, the only score in the entire second half was Calaveras getting a field goal, and that was it. It was 3-0 the whole second half. You guys shut them down in the whole second half, and the final score is 24-14. So, tell me what you saw in the second half that was like, oh, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Hey, offensively, I didn't see a lot I liked. We just weren't quite getting it done. That's where we stalled out a lot. Is the second half. We called the field goal there. Obviously we were close enough for our kicker, and a field goal makes it a 2-score game.
Right.
But he had already missed one today or that day.
Right.
And so I don't know. I got total confidence in our kicker, man. He's unfazed, honestly.
Yeah.
So we called it. He made it. 2-score game. Now it's all right, boys. Let's play some defense and hold on to this one. So.
And they did a good job doing that. And,
yeah.
Lots of guys contributed. It was great seeing Big Cody Paulson run the football and doing what he does and doing what he does defensively at linebacker. He made some big stops and some big plays.
He set the tone, both offense and defense. Set the tone when he made tackles. He made tackles.
Mm-hmm.
They were bruising hits.
As I like to say, he got to the ball carrier in a bad mood.
Exactly. He did real well. I mean, and it's we expect it, really. We
Right.
anticipate it coming from him. He's always ready to go. One of the smartest football players we have on our team. Always ready to go. Always in the right spot defensively. So, he was a tone setter for us that day. Yeah, we kind of followed his lead.
Yeah. Well, great win, great victory. Finished off the game, holding them 24-14. Great job to the defense, Coach Clark shutting them down in the second half. And so we'll get into what happened on the rest of the side of the bracket. We're going to first hear from a word from our sponsor. We'll be right back. MRM Stone has over 1,000 natural stone selections, fabrication services, and delivery available. With over 60 years of natural stone sales experience, we stock and sell natural stone thin veneer, flagstone, boulders, pavers, retaining wall block, structural block, cobble, pea gravel, mulch, and the tools necessary to complete your project. Our inside and outside sales staff is eager to help with your landscape or masonry project. Stop on by 2173 Highway 12 in Valley Springs, or go to mrmstone.com or give us a call 209-763-5761. That's 209-763-5761. MRM Stone, your masonry and landscape stone supplier. All right, welcome back, everybody. We're going to talk a little bit about, normally we'd go from around the league, but instead of going from around the league, since it's the playoff time, we're going to go from around the Division 6 bracket. So in the Division 6 bracket, obviously, we already talked about Calaveras being victorious 24-14 over Wheatland. They'll move on to round 2 tonight. Calaveras, who's the 11th seed, will head up to Sonora to play the number 3 seed. So Calaveras at Sonora, 11 versus 3. Orastimba, who was victorious over Delhide, 33-0 tonight. Orastimba, who's the 5 seed, will head over to Linden at Linden to play Linden, who's the number 4 seed. Liberty Ranch was victorious 35-0 over Ripon. Tonight, Liberty Ranch, the 7 seed, will head up to Woodland Christian, the number 2 seed, and play Woodland at Woodland. And then finally, Ripon Christian was victorious 21-6 over Bear River. Tonight, Ripon Christian, who's the 8th seed, will be at Bradshaw Christian, who's the number 1 seed. They had the bye week, so they'll be at them. Around the Division 6 bracket, you take a look at their coach, you see the scores, you see what's up next. Yeah. Any comments around those games?
Yeah, Orastimba Linden, that's going to be a tough one. Linden, MLL. We always root for the MLL teams, unless we're playing them. It's good luck, Linden there. Liberty Ranch, they're a very good football team, and they're going to Woodland Christian. That one could be one to keep your eye on right there. That could be an upset. Honestly, I think Liberty Ranch is good. Ripon was good, and Liberty Ranch handled them. So,
I was talking to, there's a guy, his name's Mike. He works over at KVGC Radio in Jackson. Occasionally, as I'm going in through the studio over there, I'll talk with him, and he's from Galt, and that's where Liberty Ranch is.
Yeah. And
he's told me kind of the background there, the difference between Galt and Liberty Ranch, and really what it is Liberty Ranch is the new school, right? And so having that brand new school, it's like, Galt's been around forever, right? So they probably got those old beat up old lockers and all the stuff. So when kids are coming up, they're like, hey, you want to go to this brand new fancy shiny looking school, or you want to go to this old school? And so he's like, that's why Liberty Ranch is so good right now.
Yeah. Well, you remember back in 2010, we had a game against Liberty Ranch.
I remember.
They had a really good running back.
They did.
We could not stop him.
Yeah, he was a big kid.
Stop him,
I think he was like 6 foot, 215, just a big, fast, hard to bring down kind of running back. I remember that.
Yeah. No, and Liberty Ranch is one of those teams we've thought about scheduling for preseason too. So we'll see. We actually got to start working on our preseason for next year, and that could be one of them.
Yeah,
tough opponents, man. We want that. We want a tough preseason, and maybe next year CIF give us a better seating.
Well, I wouldn't hold your breath. Or
that was for you, by the way.
If they do that, tell them to ask for me. Ask for Mr. Blue. That'll be me holding my breath. All right, and then other notable games in the area. Number 8, Gustine will be at Somerville, the number 1 seed in Division 7. Coach, you talked about, we root for our Motherlode League teams when they're not playing us. So Somerville, the number 1 seed there. Gustine will head up there to play them. So good luck, Somerville. Big Valley Christian, the number 5 seed, will be at Waterford after Big Valley had a big win over Valley Christian, 49-0. And so now Big Valley, who's the 5 seed, will be at Waterford, who's the number 4 seed. So that'll be interesting, those two games, to see how those play out.
Hey, they're on the same side of the bracket, too. It would not surprise me Big Valley comes out with a win here, and they're playing Somerville next week. It would not surprise me. I think Somerville, they're the front runner, obviously, in that entire bracket to take that D7. It would not surprise me if they go to state. I just think they're a really, really good football team.
Yeah, definitely. So one of the things I didn't want to skip over, I had a chance to talk to a couple of players, and before we move forward, let's find out what some of these guys had to say. All right, with number 22, Ryan Clifton from the Calaveras Varsity Redhawks. Ryan, congrats! You had a touchdown reception against Wheatland on round 1 of the playoffs. Walk me through that play. What did you see for it to work?
Well, Coach called the play, designed the play right there at timeout, and then he told me where our route was, and he told the QB to look for me, and it was open. Got it there.
Nice. So going into that game, Wheatland was 9-1. You guys, they were ranked above you guys. How did it feel to kind of come away with the W that night?
We were definitely all very confident coming in that game. The record didn't scare us at all.
Okay. Now coming into round 2 this week, you're going into Sonora. Calaveras hasn't had a lot of success against them in the past. What's your mindset as far as going into round 2 of the playoffs against a team like them?
Well, we're a lot better than the previous years we've been, and we feel like we got our passing game just be that big against them.
So now I know a lot of people may not know this, but Kirk Clifton, who's the head coach at Sonora, is your uncle. Tell me what it's like to be having a family member that's on the other side and it being playoffs, and what's it like to have to suit up and go play a game like that?
Yeah, I've actually never played against Sonora. I've always been hurt, so playing them in the second round of playoffs is going to be pretty cool.
So it's just in all the different opportunities of something that's kept you from being in the game, and then now you're finally in the game, and it's like everything's riding on the line.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
So it'll be a fun game to watch. I can't wait to see you guys. So best of luck on Friday.
Thank you.
All right, Coach, number 22, Ryan Clifton, talked a little bit about his uncle being the head coach at Sonora. Comments on what Ryan had to say?
I'm kind of curious, Ryan want try to score a few on his uncle. Man, that'd be great, the Clifton family in general, man, just a bunch of athletes, football player, basketball players, you know what I mean? So,
right.
Good family to be around, honestly.
You bet.
Honestly, it's kind of what you want, That's the type of people you want a part of your program, So it's good, but hopefully Ryan can go take one to his uncle. That'd be nice.
All right, let's see what this next young man had to say. If I can get to it, here we go. All right, I'm with number 1, Josh Monzo, senior receiver and defensive end. First of all, congratulations on the playoff victory against Wheatland. Tell me how you felt at the end of that game, being able to come away with the victory.
It's definitely exciting. I mean, it's a new hope. You get really juiced up winning the first playoff game, and we haven't done it in a while as a team. So it's definitely really good.
Excellent. So going into now round 2, facing Sonora, Calaveras hasn't had a lot of success against them when they were in the league. What's that do to your mindset as far as what the focus is this week and it being a playoff game?
Honestly, the only thing that does my mindset is make me want to go harder the next time we play him. So I'm never expecting to play him again, and whatever. But I just know that the next opportunity I get, I'm just going to give it my absolute all and see where that evens out on the battlefield.
Excellent. Well, I know from a coaching's perspective, and I'm sure coaches have talked to you. To me, it's like it doesn't matter what happened in the last so many games. What happens is what matters is what happens this Friday night, right?
Yeah, absolutely. All it takes is one game.
There you go. All right, well, I'll be out there rooting for you, and I wish you the best of luck.
All right, thank you.
Yep. All right, Coach. Number 1, Josh Monzo.
He's ready to go.
He's ready to go.
Yeah, he's always ready.
He plays in that defensive end spot. He makes plays happen when he gets up on the line of scrimmage.
He's just a playmaker. Honestly, he gives 100% the entire game. Doesn't take plays off. Big, strong. He's got long arms. You know what I mean. So he's diverse. We could put him in a lot of positions. Honestly, so we ask a lot of him, man, and for the most part, he delivers.
Nice. I believe I have Cody Paulson here too. If I make a mistake, shame on me.
Okay.
Let's see. All right, so I'm with number 33, fullback linebacker Cody Paulson. Cody, congrats on the win over at Wheatland High School. Tell me how you feel after the game on Friday.
Thank you. I felt really good. I thought we played our hearts out. Felt really good about it.
You had some pretty big runs there in the second half that really helped the team. Tell me what you saw there.
Well, he called 8 or 7 pro F dive. I was like, okay. I didn't expect to get that much yards. And I got the ball, the hole opened up. Just seen open field, broke a tackle, and got 20, 30 yards.
Almost inside the 5-yard line there, almost scored.
Yeah.
Nice. Defensively, you made a couple of big plays too on the defense. What were you seeing defensively that helped you get to that spot quickly?
I was just seeing cutback lanes, and every time I see a cutback lane, they would take it, and I just hit them.
Nice. So this Friday, round 2 at Sonora. Tell me what's the focus this week as far as getting ready for Sonora?
The focus this week is definitely stopping their offense. We could be good on our offense, but defense we have to be perfect. Stop their offense.
Yeah, that triple option can be kind of a difficult to defend against.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah. All right. Well, anything in particular besides just defensively that you're going to focus on for that offense?
Getting my blocks out there and trying to find open holes, open lanes.
All right. Well, I wish you the best of luck on Friday. Keep this thing going.
Thank you.
All right. All right, Coach. Number 33, Cody Paulson.
He's not wrong. We got to stop their offense.
It sounds easy.
Right.
What's the focus this week? Stop their offense.
I wish it was that easy. He's obviously he's an intricate part of the team, both sides of the football. Like I said, he's not wrong at all. We got to try to slow that offense down. We know they're going to put some points on the board. They're really good, and we just got to do our best to slow them down and make them work for everything. You know what I mean? We can't be out of position. We can't give them anything easy. You know what I mean? Because they'll take advantage of it.
Yeah. It's a nice, perfect little segue here because he mentioned we just got to stop their offense. Well, who's in charge of that other than the defensive coordinator, Coach Doug Clark? Let's see what Coach had to say. All right, I'm with Calaveras High School varsity football defense coordinator Doug Clark. Coach, congrats on the win versus Wheatland.
Thank you.
Big round 1 win. They were 9-1, ranked above you guys. How'd it feel to come away with the victory?
Felt nice. Felt very good.
Excellent. So now, of course, all the talk this week is now Sonora round 2. Given the history, Calaveras hasn't had a whole lot of success in the past 10 years or so when they're in the league. What are you focusing your defensive on and your guys for this week for a playoff game going into a game like this? What's the focus been on?
Oh, we just got to, eliminate big plays. Sonora's going to move the ball and score. They're averaging 43.5 points a game in the TVL. They're tough. Their offense is tough. So we got to slow them down, eliminate the big plays, and, rally to the ball. And, read our keys, play discipline, football, make tackles, everything we've been doing, got to step it up in round 2 of the playoffs.
Right. So now I talked to Ryan Clifton, who's the nephew of Kirk Clifton, who's the head coach there, and he mentioned how over the years he thought at some point this would happen, but he was always injured or something would come up to where he wasn't able to play the game, and now he's finally having an opportunity, and it just so happens to be round 2 of the playoffs. You have a history being a Sonora ex-graduate yourself. What's it like to have all that extra history and then at the same time go, by the way, we got a football game to play?
No, I know. It's a lot. Obviously, Craig was my best friend. Craig and I played with, obviously, the head coach, Kirk Clifton. He was 1 year older than us. So we played football together for years, and now coaching together. So, yeah, it makes it you want it a little bit more. But when it comes down to it, it's still football Friday night. So we just got to stay focused.
I love you before the game and after the game, but during the game, I'm going to kick your butt.
That's the whole goal.
All right. Well, I appreciate the time, Coach. We'll be out there rooting for you on Friday night.
All right. Thank you.
All right. So your defense coordinator, Coach Clark, comments are on there, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't have a better guy running your defense against that offense. He's more familiar than probably most with what they do and how they do it. Coach always comes up with a good plan for the kids. We just got to go execute it.
Right. No doubt. I feel if you're going to have one of the most difficult tasks to try to conquer, he's definitely a guy you want in charge of saying, how do we approach this? What do we do? Yep. Because he's going to be all over it. So no doubt about there. I agree with that 150%. Before we move on, I want to make sure I remember to thank Guy Dossie, the sports editor of the Calaveras Enterprise and the CalaveranEnterprise.com for all of the statistics that we put out on the Let's Talk Football with Coach Val podcast. Without Guy Dossie, I wouldn't have these stats in here. So thank you very much, Guy. I appreciate it.
Good man there.
Absolutely. We are going to come back and talk about this week in practice and what Sonora does and keys of the game in this big round 2 playoff game right after we hear another word from our sponsors. Ready to transform your backyard into an outdoor paradise? Look no further than the Paver Company, specializing in hardscaping, landscaping, outdoor living spaces, turf, decking, and more. They are your one-stop shop for all your yard upgrade needs. As a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years' experience, the Paver Company takes pride in their top-notch craftsmanship. Get started today with a free estimate and custom design. Make your yard the envy of the neighborhood. Visit us at thepavercompany.com or call us at 916-222-8844 to schedule your consultation. That's 916-222-8844. Let's turn your backyard dreams into reality with the Paver Company. Treats General Store in San Andreas, California is a proud sponsor of Calaveras football and the Let's Talk Football with Coach Val podcast. Treats General Store has everything you need from groceries, meat, liquors, and hardware. Treats General Store since 1852. All right, welcome back, everybody. Our next segment, This Week in Practice, keys of the game. So, Coach, tell us how practice went. Tell us a little bit. A lot of us know what Sonora runs offensively, that triple option. Maybe fill us in if there's any nuances to that. And then, of course, what they're running defensively and what you believe are going to be keys to the game this tonight.
Yeah, when you get into playoff football, there's just not one key. You got 11 players on 11 players, and you have to win the majority of the battles if you want to win the play. A lot of individual battles this week. Got to run our routes right. We have to block the correct guy. We got to make sure we move him. We got to make sure we don't get penetration on certain plays. Just all of the above. Sonora's offense is like Coach Clark said, very dynamic. They score a lot of points. We got to be able to get some stops. We have to find a way to make some stops, turnovers. It's November. The weather's getting colder. It's getting damper, a little wet. We gotta try to create a couple of turnovers if at all possible. Defensively, they play a very sound defense. You look at them, you see, okay, all right, this is what they're doing, but they run it well and they attack, they tackle well. Those are almost tougher to play because they're fundamentally sound. So you have to be just as fundamentally sound offensively if you want to try to move the ball and score some points against them. But I think we can. It's one thing we talked to the players. You said it earlier. We haven't had a lot of success against Sonora as of late, and a lot of it is you got to believe. You got to believe you can be successful against another team. We coaches, we don't go in on Sunday and start watching film and putting the plan together to go lose a game.
Right.
No, we believe we have a shot at winning the game.
Right.
And anybody that doesn't believe, and I told the kids this, hey, if you don't believe, just go ahead and take a walk. Don't waste our time. We don't need you.
Right.
We'll coach up guys that do believe, and so that's been the focus. They're a good football team. We know it. A lot of people in the section know it. Who gives a shit? Okay. Believe you can win the game and go give it 100% effort.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, that's really what it is, and we got to be ready. I think this week was a good week of practice. A lot of fundamentals, working on a lot of things like that. And yeah, man, each individual player has to win his battle. You know what I mean? And we need 7 or 8 battles at least, won every single play. That's the plan. That's the idea.
Right. And with that kind of offense, and I mean, myself personally, I've never really been a huge fan of any type of offense that increases the probability of turnovers. So any type of the option stuff, you're putting the ball on the ground sometimes. Now, you get to eventually, you're so good at it, it becomes where you mitigate that pretty well the way Sonora has. But still, that type of offense inherently is the ball gets the ground sometimes when you're, I'm pitching it, I'm getting hit as I'm trying to pitch it. The pitch didn't go where I wanted it to. Yeah. And so all of a sudden, the probability of increased turnovers. And then you got turnovers where the turnover happened, deep in my own end. All of a sudden, the other team's in great field position, right? So many different things can happen in a game like that it really doesn't matter who's favored, who isn't favored. The bottom line is taking advantage of opportunities when they come up, and like you said, believe, right?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Sonora's quarterback's very good, which is why they can run the offense the way they run it. The better the quarterback in that offense, the more they can do, the harder it makes it on the defense. No question about it. He's good. He can run all of the plays that are available. I can almost guarantee you everything in the playbook is at his. He can run them.
Right.
And he minimizes the turnovers. They don't turn the ball over very much. So, that's why they are where they are.
Right.
That's why they're the number 3 seed. And so, again, though, so what?
Right.
So what? But
Right.
they're they put their pants on. They're at one leg at a time. And we just got to go play, man. We got to give it hell.
So they were 8-2 in the regular season. Calaveras was 8-2 in the regular season.
Yep.
So, there you go, right?
Yeah.
And you said, well, they do a good job not turning the ball over. The last time I checked, statistically, Calaveras and the plus minus and takeaways as far as defensively goes, you've taken the ball away a lot this season.
Yeah, we have. You're right. Yeah, we got to keep that going. That'd be nice.
So we talked earlier. We've kind of thrown tidbits in there. I mentioned it. with Ryan Clifton, 22, your receiver and your DB. His uncle, Kirk Clifton, is the head coach at Sonora. So he's got, family and history with the team. I mentioned it with Coach Clark. He went there himself. So he played with Kirk. Lots of, history with the team. Calaveras, I remember, you and I coached there, for so long that we used to play Sonora even before they came into the Motherlode League,
right,
and we beat them before. I mean, we've had no problems as far as being competitive with them during that time. In fact, why don't you tell us a little bit about the last time when Calaveras beat Sonora? I think you remember something like that, right?
Yeah, it's funny. Earlier in the year, I was just sitting in the football room and just watching, going through film, and it popped in my mind. I don't know, I'd seen a Sonora score or something, and I went back to I think it was 2013 or 14. I can't remember. And I remember Mikey Sewell, Malachi Stockdale. And I looked up that Sonora game. I said, what did we do then? I can't, like you said, we've been doing it so long.
Right.
A lot of these things run together. So just kind of checking it out. And after watching it, it wasn't a very high scoring game. I could be wrong. I want to say 14-7 or something like that. But it was funny. I told Coach Clark this too. Every play, we had a pad go off. Every single play. And I'm like, man, we were tough. We were tough. We weren't overly talented. We were not big, but we were tough. And yeah, I just watched through that game, man. And our linebackers were filling, because what they want to do. They come downhill with their O-line. They got 5-on-2, 5-on-3, and our linebackers didn't give up any ground. We were hitting their linemen, and I'm just thinking, man, I don't remember just being that tough,
right?
Just watching the guys. Pad levels were so low. I mean, it was a good game on both sides of it. It was a good defensive game, I should say.
Right.
On both sides of the ball. Turnovers, right? Turnovers were happening. And if I remember right, we were not supposed to win that game. And we did.
Right.
And I go, man, that long time ago, unfortunately.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, and then in the middle of all that, I remember one that was the complete opposite. It was a high scoring game. And I think, and we were right there with them, back and forth. And then I think our kicker missed a kick at the end that ended the game, like in overtime or something like that. And it was like 55-54, the final or something like that.
Yeah.
We lost the game, but we were like right there in the game, and it was huge.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've had very good competitive football games with this team.
Yep. We have, man. We got to get back to that.
Yeah.
And I think there's a toughness, a Calaveras football toughness, back then that I think we have back now.
Yeah.
I really do believe that. That's been for me as we come in. X's, O's, fundamentals. Blah blah blah. Honestly,
right.
You got to be the toughest team on the field.
I'm glad you brought that up because I have a story I want to tell about Sonora and Calaveras and kind of our history. We used to go, and this is back when football camps were allowed.
Yep.
Right? You'd go on a football camp, and we'd go to the Sonora one, and the Sonora camp, they called it the Mountain Misery because it'd be up, in Sonora in the mountains. You're in the middle of the dead heat summer, north of 100 degrees, hot out there. And it'd be like Sonora, Calaveras, Central Catholic. I mean, it was an iron sharpened iron kind of football camp. And we'd go up there, and I remember in one of the days, Roger Canapa, who's the head coach at Central, and he used to be coach at Sonora, used to be coach at Calaveras.
Right.
Another connection there between all of the schools. But Canapa comes up, and I think he started complaining about there was a football missing. Someone's stealing my footballs. Where are my footballs? And Coach Anderson's like, give it a break. No one's stealing your footballs. So we take off for the end of that day, and here comes Coach Anderson, and he blows out, and he's got a Central Catholic football. And we just all start laughing, right? Because he's complaining that he's got a football missing. Anderson tells him, get out of here. You're nuts. I don't know what you're talking about. And of course, the whole time he had the football. And so we go out to dinner that night, and then he deflates the football, takes all the air out of it, grabs some athletic tape, and we go to the hotel where we're all staying at, and finds Coach Canapa's truck. and he proceeds to get the athletic tape and tape the deflated football around the truck's antenna on Coach Canepa's truck. And then the very next morning, bright and early, we're drinking coffee, we're on the football field, and Coach Anderson looks at Coach Canepa and goes, "Hey, did you ever fight your football?"
The good old days of being able to have summer camps, dude. Man.
But those were good camps, man. We got a lot. I mean, to me, from a football coaching perspective, we got so much done. It was like having 3 weeks worth of practice done in a few days because you had like 3 practices a day, right?
Yeah.
You just practice all day long. You got so much accomplished.
Yeah, and the name of that Mountain Misery, and a perfect name for it.
Yeah,
perfect name for it because it was, man. And I mean, if I remember right, that year Bret Hart was there as well, and they bailed out after day one, if I remember right.
Yeah,
it was no joke.
Yeah, they didn't want to have to deal with the scrimmage on Saturday.
Yeah.
We'd go all day Thursday, all day Friday, and then on Saturday we'd have a scrimmage Saturday morning, and by noon everybody was done. You went home, and that was the year I knew, like, Calaveras kids are tough. Forget the X's and O's. Calaveras kids are tough because I'm hearing these Central kids from Modesto going, "Oh, when I get home, I'm just going to lay on the couch. I'm so tired."
Yeah.
And Calaveras parents would show up and go, "Hey, I need 7 holes dug for fencing, pal. I don't know what you think you're doing, but I know what you're doing when you get home." And I thought, hey, these kids are tough.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, we're there. We're I like what's going on. You know, we talked about it earlier, youth level, our level here. We have tough kids.
Yeah.
We have really tough kids, man. We just coach them up, man, get them ready to play some football and let them go do their thing.
I agree. I think we're back to bringing back that Calaveras toughness.
Yep.
We know what they're going to do. They know what we're going to do. No big secret there. Now it's let's get in there and start hitting each other and let's see who executes better. So I'm looking forward, round 2, CIF, Sac-Joaquin section playoffs. It's going to be exciting. You should be out there and go watch the game. Coach, any last comments before I let the folks know how to listen to the game if they can't get out there on this week in practice and then facing Sonora?
Yeah. A couple things, the football game Friday, you got to go to GoFan to get your tickets.
Okay.
GoFan app. You can get your tickets there. And then Saturday, I do believe first game starts at 11 on Saturday. 11, 1:30, and I do believe 6 or 6:30 for the varsity game. And look, one thing I'll tell you, the CIF put us at this 11 seed in this side of the bracket for this reason. Mm-hmm. They knew Calaveras would travel well if we got past the first round. They knew we would travel well to Sonora, right? Our fans, our school, students, parents, grandparents, family, we travel well everywhere we go. And I think, you know what, we need it. We need it over there, man. Let's pack that one side of the stands over there. Let's hear those bells.
Yeah.
And then same thing for Saturday. Let's pack the visitor stands over at Argonaut there because that's what side Calaveras is on all day long. And hey, man, let's give it hell.
Absolutely. It doesn't get better than this. Still playing football. We're in mid-November.
Yep.
It's football weather. I mean, this is what you work all summer long for, is to get to this point.
Hey, the only thing that would make it better, practicing Thanksgiving morning.
Oh, I love practice on Thanksgiving morning.
Only thing that would make it better, man.
That would definitely make things better.
Yep.
All right, well, you heard them, folks. Be sure to get out there to the games on Friday night to watch the Sonora game at Sonora, Calaveras round 2. And then, of course, on Saturday, you want to get out down there to support the Junior Red Hawk program as well. Whether you go, don't go, whatever it is, download that KVGC radio app, tune in, listen to yours truly, bring you all the play-by-play action on Friday night for round 2, that CIF Sac-Joaquin section title game. 1340 and 96.5 on your dial. If you want to go old school and listen to the radio way, you can go to kvgcradio.com. And then, as I mentioned, the KVGC radio app. Coach, I got a few things I'm going to let off my mind here. Anything else before I get going on Coach Val's rant?
The floor is yours.
The floor is mine. Let's get it going. Free or easy has no value. Give you an example. Fast food versus home cooking. Fast food can be tasty, but it's never good as home cooking, right? You got to put in the time. Get you some home cooking. Found money versus earned money. You'll easily blow money that wasn't earned, but you think hard about a purchase with money you worked hard to get. Embrace the struggle. If it's not hard to do, then you shouldn't want it. Difficult things that make you struggle always have a better payday when you get through it. Things that are free have little value and are usually of poor quality. If you're trying to accomplish something and you're running into obstacles, things are not just falling into your lap. You're on the right track. Keep going. Don't stop. Don't give up. If it were easy, anyone could do it. But it's not easy. That's why only a select few enjoy the reward. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. It doesn't matter how many wins this team has. The only thing that matters is what happens tonight. The present. Right now. Live in the moment. Calaveras Red Hawk football. Round 2. CIF Sac-Whisking section title playoffs. Let's go! All right.
Let's go.
Round 2, playoff football. I'm looking at the weather. It says 50-50 chance of rain. Hey, who cares?
Yep.
Cold, rain, sleet, snow. This is football. We play football.
That's right. That's right.
All right, folks. Want to thank you all out there for listening. Thanks to Coach Manny Mossa for taking the time to come out and do this. Good luck tonight, Coach.
Thank you.
If you're enjoying the podcast, please follow us on Instagram or Facebook at Let's Talk Football with Coach Val. Be sure to share the page with all of your followers and friends. And you can now text the show a message under the send us a text message link and the podcast page you're using. Of course, you can always shoot us an email at gilbertvaltierra@gmail.com. Be sure to tune into the games live every Friday night, 7 p.m., downloading the KVGC radio app, 1340 and 96.5 on your dial. Here, you'll hear me bring you all the live play-by-play action. You could also listen to a brand new episode of Let's Talk Football with Coach Val every Friday morning to get the latest news, scores, and happenings of the Motherlode League and surrounding area football every week during the football season. Until next time, we are out.
And it's intercepted. It's intercepted by number 22. That's Clifton. He's got the left edge. Turns on the Jets. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Calaveras. What a play. Up to a running back. That's Ferrante over to the right side. He comes back up the middle. He's got room. One man to beat. He turns on the Jets. There he goes. Touchdown, Calaveras. What a play.